Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the market close. It's it's not a bad day. It's actually a nice green day on the market. Of course, this has been a crazy week. We had we had severe panic, of course, on Monday morning, as we were anticipating. And if you were at the computer or at your phone ready to buy as the market opened, there were some really big deals. I got in. I got in on at least one. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We, of course, we don't have tariffs. That's our big, one of our big stories. We are currently looking good without tariffs, at least, well, until March 1st, or at least then. So we have to sort of see how this goes. Of course, on Monday, we got a stay of execution, and that's a good thing. But there's a little bit of hokiness about it too, and we'll talk a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. Of course, most of that will be after the bell. So before we go any further, let's take a quick look and see how the markets are doing. We got the TSX in the green, up 0.85%. So looking good so far. S&P 500 also in the green, up 0.24%. NASDAQ doing well, up 0.32%. Dow Jones also doing pretty good, up 0.66%. Gold is in the green and silver is in the green. Of course, we kind of knew they were going to get off to a pretty good start this week simply because when there's fear in the market, people turn to gold, silver, oil. Oil's not having a great day. It's down 1.73%. Bitcoin is also down. Ethereum is up. So we've got a lot of different stuff going on in the market. All right, let's head to our heat map. All right, this is Canada's heat map, and the first thing you're going to see is a giant Amazon. And yeah, it's not Amazon. Amazon has not moved to Canada. That's actually the CDR. So the CDR for Amazon is doing good, and that's actually amazing because the last time I looked, Amazon is actually down, but the CDR, don't ask me why, I don't know. The CDR is up, and it's kind of crushing a lot of our little guys over here, like poor Loblaws. So good old Amazon CDR looking pretty good here. It's kind of crushing. It's making it hard to read the rest of my heat map, though. I will definitely say that the banks they're all doing okay. I mean, TD's up a tiny bit. Bank of Nova Scotia up a little bit as well. The railroad's having a good day. CNR's up 1.56%. CP's up 0.64. Let's see here. Suncor up 1.59%. So not too shabby. Enbridge is up as well. So, all right, let's look at the American. We don't have something giant like Amazon doing that. Yeah, look over here. Amazon down 2.52%. So interesting. 2.52. No, 1.9. I was just checking to see if they just happen to be making a mistake or something, but I don't know. Nvidia is having a half decent day. They are back up 4.41%. Tesla's down. Eli Lilly's up, so not too shabby. Berkshire Hathaway up 1.23%. Okay, over onto the world of crypto. Crypto's having mostly a red day today. Bitcoin down 0.64. XRP's down. Solana's down. Dogecoin is down. A lot of coins are down. I don't know what to say. Now, I always like to talk about the fact that there are more than 15,000 different altcoins out there. Most of them I like to call crap coins because it's like playing craps, right? You're rolling the dice when you play with a lot of them. But you know what? Let's actually grab. Let's go. Let's zip. I'm going to zip really far in here. We'll grab one of these. Let's grab this one here. See what we get. We got Bitcoin X. So, yeah, this is it's not worth very much at all. It's worth like a fraction of a penny. Not good. Yeah, it had one little little thing happening here. I mean, it is up a tiny bit, but once again, these are risky coins. You guys know I'm not a big fan of penny stocks. Also, I'm not a big fan of crap coins because most of the time you're just throwing your money away. So if you're going to invest in crypto, there's a lot of good ones that you could be, even in the green today. Even Litecoin would be a better option, but most of the good coins are in the red today. So your Bitcoin, Ethereum's up a little bit. Ethereum is fine. Solana, those are the coins that, Cardano, those are the coins that aren't going to really hurt you in the long run. So they're not too shabby. Okay. Oops. All right. Let's, there we go. My mouse had disappeared. So it was like, where's my mouse? Where's my mouse? But it's back. It's back now. All right, guys, let's hit the chat here for a moment. Say hi to those who are already in the house. We got Kiev and Kaz. Good afternoon, gang. Muddy Waters Bookshelf. Let's see. All good so far. Better than Monday. Oh, yes. And guys, let me show you. I want to show you one little thing here. Let's look at Monday. Let's look at Monday. I'm actually going to show you one thing that I found very exciting on Monday. We're going to good old Canoe. So Canoe has been sitting up here for a while, but look, here's Monday. Here's that little, you didn't have much time to act, but let me tell you, you had an opportunity to get Canoe for like little over $13. So Canoe had a nice little contraction. And it's not just Canoe. You'll see that this event on Monday, it did a similar thing to a lot of things. Like, oh, let's look at Dollarama. Let's pick Dollarama. And there it is right there. Your little Monday, the start to Monday. So that's why I'm saying if you were up at start when the market opened, you might have been able to get in on some pretty good deals. They didn't last long. Did not last long at all. Yeah. Anyway, it's kind of cool. Luckily, because we did get that deal, of course, Monday, it fixed itself pretty fast. Pretty much, I think the market was open maybe an hour before we had word that Mexico had gotten a 30-day reprieve. And of course, it didn't take long. It didn't take long for us to get a 30-day reprieve as well. Now, here's the thing that I find a little bit interesting, guys. When you look at the wording of what Trump said is that he basically said, yeah, we'll revisit this in 30 days and see if Canada has made the economic, I don't want to say concessions, but he was talking about the economic opposed to the border for what he's expecting from Canada in 30 days. So I have a feeling that the border is not the biggest issue for Trump. And I think he's going to work a lot of these other things in. He's already started hinting at the fact that he doesn't like that. Well, he says that U.S. banks can't open up in Canada, and that's not actually true. They can't open in the same sense as one of our top tier banks, but there is an avenue where they can open up. They're not considered a full bank, but they can open. So we'll have to sort of see if if that is part of it. And I know he was complaining that we don't have a lot of American dairy and stuff, and there's a lot of things that they can't push up into Canada. So we'll see what that all looks like, of course, in March. Hopefully, though, it gets resolved before the last minute, because we don't need any more of that panic. All right, 3:54. We got the bell in about 6 minutes. All right, Max says, good afternoon, everyone. I hope that Canada can trade nationwide. Yeah, absolutely. We need to absolutely 100% remove trade barriers between provinces. I think we've learned that lesson. And I really, really, really think, I don't think anybody is opposed to it at this point. So I do think we're going to see that happen. Now, mind you, it's not like we can just sort of flip a switch and we'll be able to trade oil across the country right away. I mean, we have to put the pipelines in to be able to do that. Jordan says, hello there, Candace and chat family. Hope all are well. Hope that you're doing well for me as well. I hope you're doing well as well. There we go. Muddy Water says, for me, it is Bitcoin or nothing. Yeah. Well, Bitcoin, I mean, I love Bitcoin. I do love Bitcoin for sure. Vic says, I did pick up some Google. Nice. But missed the dip in AMD. Tom is saying, go BlackBerry. I haven't looked at BlackBerry today yet. Let's take a gander here, guys. BlackBerry. So those of you who, whoa, they're having a good day. BlackBerry, go BlackBerry for sure. Look at this. Yeah, BlackBerry has been doing fantastic. Now, they of course have a horse in the race when it comes to quantum computing, and it's all about basically encryption and basically protecting data from quantum computers down the road, and that has really helped them big time. Especially when it comes to cars. Last thing we want is people's cars getting hacked, because that wouldn't be a fun. I've seen. I think I've seen some of the crime shows where somebody hacks a car, and that never ends well in them as well. So I'm pretty happy. If we actually go back a little bit, pretty much since about November, BlackBerry has been on a tear. So I did add them in the 0 to 100K as one of the speculative investments. I added 2 speculative investments. One of them is BlackBerry, and I think that's the more when I say speculative, I think that's the more stable of the two. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it. Oh, wait a minute. I thought I had it up. I put it back down, guys. I'm sorry. Here's BlackBerry, by the way. Look at this. This is just absolutely crazy. They're doing fantastic. They're doing fantastic. Let's see if they can keep this up. That would be kind of cool. I know right now. I'm just curious here. Give me a second. Let me take a look at this. Where are they sitting at right now? Oh yeah, with that big pop today, they're up at 35. The total return right now, 35.47% in the challenge. So that's pretty cool. All right, Larry says picked up Sunday night and NVDX 2x NVIDIA bull, 888 now, 11 Doge, 0.26 to 0.28. Nice. For some SD Lauder. There we go. SD Lauder. Let's see. I don't think the Middle East happy with America taking hazard. Yeah, sorry, Gaza. There we go. Gaza. That's what it was. Yeah, no. I can't believe that Trump thought that was a good idea to even bring that up. There's a lot of people that think that's not happy about that. Not happy at all. It's not going to happen. I think he has a better chance of turning Canada into a state than he has of taking Gaza. Yeah. It's not happening, guys. Kevin Guess, Canada being treated like they treat their debt ceiling, moving goalposts and threats. Yeah. He's not done with us. He's not done with us at all. The fact that we've bowed down to his first little demand with the border, all he's going to do is, you're right, he's going to keep on. He's like Lucy, right? And we're Charlie Brown. Every time we go to kick the ball, he's going to move it. He's going to move it. We know he's going to move it. It's his nature, right? Vic says $1 an egg in the USA. Yeah, I think it was Waffle House. I think Waffle House in the US is putting like a 50-cent surcharge per egg onto all the eggs on their menu. So yeah, they've got a pretty bad egg shortage down there. Now, mind you, guys, go enjoy some eggs. Eggs are nice, reasonably priced here in Canada. So let's enjoy them while we can. Before the U.S. invades us to steal our eggs. That would be funny. Tom says, they can sell dairy here. There's just a 250% tariff. Yeah. I like Canadian dairy, honestly. So I don't think I would buy like U.S. milk. I just don't think I would. I like the Canadian stuff. All right. Larry says, picked up Win and Kraft Heinz today. Nice. Vic says, Larry had Win at $60 in the pandemic. Yeah, it was a great deal. I always grab it low 80s. It's good for 5 to 10% usually same week. And that's not too shabby. That's not too shabby at all. Let's see. I bought it last week at 81 something, sold at 81 something, sold at 85, rebought today at 81. It's 82 already. Okay, cool. Let's see. Muddy says on Monday, I picked up LFGY ETF at a price reduction. Small holdings pays weekly. Nice. You gotta love weekly payers. Um, let's see. Larry says, forward earnings. I'm ready to buy the inevitable drop at 3. And we got Bleak in the house. Oh, guys, it's time. Woo! There we go. I didn't hit it hard because I forgot. And we were, 50 cents, 50 seconds late. And I like to give a warning for people who have it on the on the headphones. I did get an earful once about somebody like saying that bell is too darn loud. All right. Funny Books is in the house saying bell. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this. If you guys do want a Friday stream, 4 supers and you got it. If you'll notice up at the top as well, by the way, we got a new countdown this month. Last month we did the bomb, and I had some fun with that. That's for sure. But we're doing a swag this month. So if we get to that 25, then we're going to do a swag giveaway at the end of the month, which is going to be fun. So I am working on getting some more swag together and see if we can actually. I'm hoping by the end of the month to actually have a full page of swag for you guys. Let's see. Ricardo says, good afternoon. Anybody playing BTU earnings? I'm holding 5 shares and 1 option call contract for Friday. Interesting. That I don't know. I am not sure at all. All right. And we got a super sticker in from Kiev and Gaz. So she is our goat. Let me get to the goats. Here we go. I will go with this one. This is my favorite. Out of all the goats, this is the one I like the most. So, and, I also have to put the swag up to 5. So there we go. Bang, boom. We're slowly creeping up. We got the month. There's no rush, but although last month I really thought last month I was going to escape the month without having to eat the bomb, but no, I did enjoy the bomb for sure. I do think because with this channel, I have had 3 hot experiences. So we did the full hot ones challenge on one of our celebration streams, and then I also did the bomb another time. And then the full teaspoon of the bomb. I think I'm developing a pretty good palate now for heat. So, we may have to, if we do another heat challenge, we may have to find something hotter. So than the bomb, because I think I handled that pretty darn well. So I'm just going to put that there. In the title, I was mentioning Canada Strong. So one of the interesting trends, guys, that I am starting to see is there was a lot of talk about buying Canadian. A lot of talk about it as the tariffs were getting closer. And, as that being one of those strategies, let's buy Canada. Let's buy Canadian goods. Let's let that money go back to our own folks. But now that we've got the reprieve, people are still pretty strong on that buy Canada. So it looks like it's really, really taking off. So, I'm kind of curious to know about you guys in the chat. Are you buying Canada? Now, of course, some of you guys are American. This is your chance to buy Canada, though, before tariffs in March. But I'm just kind of curious. Are you guys buying Canada? I also am curious as well with your portfolios. Has this, have these tariffs, have they sort of got you looking at your cash position? So kind of curious to know, are you still a little freaked out? Are you still kind of like, all right, because it's not like we got out of the tariffs. So we've only got a 30-day reprieve. And, eventually the U.S., I won't even say the U.S., eventually Trump's going to ask more than we are willing to give. So, that's just something to keep in mind. So eventually we may very well get those tariffs as we start moving down. All right, Larry says, rebuying Regeneron after it's dropped from 1200 to 630. And see, as it turns out, people prefer their star product that requires 6 needles to the eye per year instead of the competition with 24. Who knew? That's pretty interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Ricardo says, I am definitely buying some Canada. I hold CLS, UROI, GROI, and looking into midstream services for oil in Canada. Since you guys may deregulate now that president is that president is on the way out. It's gonna, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. Here's that thing, though. You know, even if the tariffs come back, so even if we get these tariffs March, I don't think, and even if they escalate from that point, I really don't think they're ever going to push the oil above 10%. The U.S., the U.S. relies on too much. Like, of all of the oil that the United States imports, they import about 60% of all of their oil supply, of all of the oil that they import from Canada. So, it's one of these things, like, and I keep always saying this, like right now, the U.S. is geared to process. So all of the refineries in the U.S., most of them are geared to process light crude, heavy crude, which is what we have. Most of the stuff being drilled in the United States is because of fracking and the way the water goes into the shale. It's all light crude. So they're selling that, and you can sell that at a really good price. So they're selling that for more than what they're paying to import the heavy crude from Canada. So they're actually getting a pretty good deal in my opinion. All right, Tim Smith says, rebalancing my ETF situation, will be buying some PDIV next week, which is about 50-50 Canada US. Yeah, no, I like PDIV for sure. AA says, I am buying whatever is cheap. Yeah, I'll tell you something. If you're ever in a grocery store, most of the most expensive brands are all going to be the ones that are at eye level, because most people will just buy what's in front of them. So let's say you're looking for a pancake mix. You'll probably buy the one that's at eye level, whereas the cheaper, and most times they're just as good, pancake mix or whatever it is you're looking at, it's going to be on the shelves below. So always be sure to look at the bottom and the top shelves. Don't just look straight ahead. Otherwise, you're going to be paying more when you're in that grocery store. Now, I don't know what tricks they're using on internet if you're doing online shopping. Like, I don't know about you guys, but most of my groceries, I just order online. They deliver them to the door. That's it, and that's a nice way to do it. You don't have to deal with all of the people who are all over the place, and not just the people. More or less, all of the tricks that the grocery stores use to try to get you to buy stuff. You kind of avoid that as well. Let's see. Vic says, when CAD goes to 50 cents, I'll convert my USD to CAD and double my cash. Nice. I'm really hoping, Vic, that CAD does not go to 50 cents. We did drop down to about 68 on Monday, but we're back up. I believe right now we're up at 69 again. So it's looking a little better. It is looking a little better. Tim says, even if tariffs come in, I see it as a wash. There will be negative short-term consequences, but both countries, I think, will be fine economically long-term, if not stronger. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mean, what will happen? Canada will take a big hit initially, but if we play it right, like, if we have the tariffs on the U.S., the tariffs have to be used to support businesses, to support the economy, to give people a break. That's where we need to put that money. The government can't just sort of do whatever it is that they normally do when they make money disappear. So, the current government, well, they're pretty well known for wasting money. So they can't waste that. They have to have that going back into the economy to keep things going. Now, that's not enough, though. What you have to then be doing is you have to look at, well, we've already talked about the provincial cross Canada borders. So there should be free trade across the provinces. That should be a given. Means that we need to build a pipeline from the west to the east. We also need to build more refineries here in Canada so that we can refine a lot of our own oil. And We need to make sure that we're opening up more avenues for trade, whether it be with Europe and Asia. So we need to get all of that going. Um, that way, the tariffs will hurt us less and less. And eventually, especially if we start trading more of our oil away that the US wants, the US may not be happy. They may not be happy, but hey, we didn't start the fire, in the words of Billy Joel. They did. All right. RD says, "Hi guys, hi Candace. How many stocks do you follow own?" Um, Probably in total, maybe about, well, follow a lot. Own probably somewhere between 20-25 different companies. Um, and that's the thing. I always like to say this. You really don't have to have a lot of stocks. I mean, yes, you want to have good diversification, but if you don't have a lot of time, then actually, if you have almost no time and you're pretty much just coming in once every couple of weeks just to buy whatever it is that you're putting with your new investment money, um, a lot of times that ETF investing tends to almost be a really good way to go, because you can get by with fewer ETFs than you could with stocks. So when you're buying individual stocks, to get a good diversification, you need more. You need more than you would need with ETFs. And I was even saying, I think I was saying, I can't remember when I said, it's one of the live streams. I was mentioning that you could pretty much get away with about 4 ETFs and have a really good diversification. So obviously, one of those would be an all equity ETF, so something like XEQT. So that's going to give you a little bit of US, a little bit of Canada, Europe, Australia, Asia, and emerging markets. Then you might want to throw in something like good S&P, something like a VFV, maybe a VDY to get your Canadian. And maybe throw in either a tech or or if you want exposure to crypto, one of the crypto ETFs. So you can get a really, really good exposure just by using ETFs alone. And and there's nothing wrong with that. Now, when you start looking at companies, that's when you start to get, like, if you're starting to look at individual stocks, at that point, you want to sort of look at how you want to do your sector diversification. I mean, do you only want one stock in each sector? Because that's kind of risky. Usually, I like to go with a couple, and sometimes even more, depending on the stocks. Right? I look at you take a stock like Brookfield Asset Management. That's going to give you exposure to multiple sectors because you're gaining exposure to all of the assets that Brookfield is investing in. Canoe's giving you some financial exposure. It's giving you some energy exposure. So you're getting a little bit. Also, healthcare. You're getting some healthcare with Canoe as well. So it really comes down to diversification and how I want to sort of roll it all together. Anyway, let me jump over here to Kenneth. Let's see. I know you are buying BCE. I am into TELUS as well. How many are these stocks impacted by the tariff? Don't these are a product of Canada? So yeah, so BCE, so Bell, and this is the same for TELUS and Rogers. So they're not going to be direct impacted. So they won't have direct impacts from the tariffs, because they're not exporting stuff back and forth across the border. So they're fine. And their product is solely in Canada. That's all fine. They will, of course, though, they will have collateral damage. So, as the tariffs come in and as people are paying more for other things, well, sometimes to make your budget work, you have to look at what am I going to cut back? And it might be that you're going to be like, okay, well, maybe I'm going to cut back from my data plan. Maybe, that might be, or maybe I'm not going to upgrade my phone this time around. So that's where companies like Bell, Rogers, and TELUS, that's where they'll hurt a little bit. It's not going to be huge. Like, I still think that they're all going to have green years. I think it'll be fine. Itchy eye. What can I say? I think they will all be. There we go. I think they will all be fine. But you have to sort of, you have to realize that there will be impacts on pretty much everything. But it comes down to whether it will be hit hard or not. If they have exports, imports, and exports, then yeah, they're going to get hit pretty hard. Let's see. Jackie says the grocery stores near me are putting up labels to indicate they are Canadian. Store employees stay late to help with the task. Yesterday, I shopped for groceries, got 100% Canadian. Nice, nice. Yeah, I mean, and that's going to be hard to get 100% Canadian because obviously there are, there are fruits that, for example, if you want oranges, it's going to be hard. I don't think you can get, I don't think there are Canadian oranges or avocados, different things like that. But here's the thing. If you do have to get fruit, maybe pick, instead of picking the United States, if you want to start a protest against the United States, you could always get like get Mexican fruit or fruit that's coming from Europe or things like that. But yeah, no, it's great that you were able to do 100% Canadian. Tim says, I think the government's plan is that if tariffs come in, they will blame the tariffs for the economic consequences of quadrupling the carbon tax in the spring. Yeah, and that's that thing. That's one of those taxes that if the tariffs come in, they gotta step back on that. I know that all of the, I think both Carney and Freeland have said they would get rid of the carbon tax if elected, but I don't even think you need to be elected. You know what? If once the leadership convention comes in, if Carney says, okay, I'm going to get rid of the carbon tax right now because of the tariffs, all of the parties will pretty much support that. So I think that's a no-brainer, but let's see if he has because that's the thing. Don't say, I'll get rid of it if I'm elected. Get rid of it now. And, maybe, you still may not get elected, but it'll look good in the books of Canadians, that's for sure. Kievan Cat says, I think if he keeps trying tariffs with multiple countries, he does way more damage to the U.S. Our tariff war is with one country. The U.S. is waging that war on multiple fronts. Can't see that lasting long. No, the U.S. the U.S. has taken a popularity hit for sure. But here's the funny thing. I will say this. In 4 years when Trump is gone, and it'll probably be a Democrat. I think after that, I don't think that the people will vote in another Republican. I think they'll need a break. But I have a feeling that the U.S. will just have to say, like, look, it was the one guy that did this, and I think that will bode them well. I think they will be able to recover faster than you might think. Now, mind you, there's always that chance that Trump could really push things really far. He seems to be using emergencies. And this is kind of one of these interesting things. And I noticed that. Like, I was thinking a bit about these tariffs. And the reason he can pull off these tariffs without Congress on Canada is because he says it's a border emergency. So that's part of how he's being able to get whatever concessions he wants. As long as he can wrap it in an emergency, he can do pretty much whatever he wants. And that's, especially if what he's looking for with Canada is economic concessions opposed to, the border. And there's good reason to think about. When you look at the fentanyl, right? The amount of fentanyl that crosses into the United States across the Canadian border is pretty much less than 1%. So it's not really an issue. But he's got Canada dancing around. And the reality is, fixing our borders, there's nothing. In reality, that's not a bad thing. But you know why it's not a bad thing? It's not because of fentanyl and migrants going into the United States. It's because of the guns coming north. That's a good reason all by itself to fix our borders. So, it's not a bad thing. We got Mary in the house with a hello, everyone. And guys, Mary's here. So that means it's time to hit the like button. I'm going to have some coffee because you guys are all about to be busy here for about 10 seconds. Oh, I love that. Ford tank. Yeah, I could just see it. A tank rolling in that's made Ford tough. That would be funny. Ooh, or even better, Larry. a Ford tank rolling in and Doug Ford taking it out with a baseball bat. That for some reason that's funny in my head. Vic says bought the dip in FMC, but no idea what it is. FMC. Let's take a look here. I know I've seen FMC before. Okay. Oh, Form Energy Metals. Are you? Are we? Are we? Wait a minute. Or are you talking about you? I think you're talking about FMC Corporation because the other one's a penny stock. Let's take a look here. FMC Corporation. Oh yeah, look at the dip. I see it. It's down a little bit. Pure Play Crop Chemical Company. Okay. Crop chemicals, geographies. Yeah, so it looks like they develop and distribute some of those chemicals that farmers use to keep the insects off of their crops. So yeah, that's definitely big business for sure. Larry says buying shares RN. Tim says, I think with the waste the U.S. government is cutting and their new pro-middle class policies, I think the U.S. economy will be raging. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's good for corporation stocks. Well, you got to look at it this way, though. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with righting the ship. There's nothing wrong with getting rid of redundancies and fixing up the budget. But you also don't want to sort of just cut for the sake of cutting. And that's what I worry about when they start cutting things like the Department of Education. It's like, look, if you have a problem with the Department of Education, fix it. Don't just cut the whole thing. Those are things that I don't like. I'm never a fan of any kind of educational cut because that's important. If you want to compete, especially, brain-wise, if you want to compete brain-wise with the world, you don't want to be cutting your education. I think one of the late night talk show hosts last night was saying that they're basically turning the United States by cutting the Department of Education into Florida. So I'm like, oh boy. Tim says, let's see. The reality is when Trump addresses Canada, he is really addressing China. Canada is a proxy struggle between the U.S. and China. We've been run by China for the last decade, and Trump wants a change. Well, I don't know. I mean, we've put a lot more rules and restrictions on China, so it's not as easy for them. Let's see. Finning is on a hot streak today after earnings. Nice. Yeah. So yeah, I was thinking it was the U.S. I thought it was the U.S. Buy first, ask questions later. Well, we are right now on here. Let's take a gander at something here. First of all, let's back out. I want to see their 3-year. Okay, they've been on a downward slide for quite a while. So, but yeah, they definitely down. You would almost think they should be due maybe, but kind of curious about a couple things here. Let's see here. All right, they got a little bit. Well, look at this. They do get a pretty good return on equity, 36.86 cents. They got a half decent dividend. It could be an interesting buy for you, Vic. There's nothing really wrong with the company other than, I'm going to have a feeling that I don't know a lot about the pesticide sector, I guess we'll call it that, in the United States. So, that could be part of the issue. There's a lot of things that can certainly impact that. Like if you have a lot of droughts and a lot of crops that are in trouble, obviously if your crops are dying, you're not going to need pesticide for them. All right. Oops. Let's get here to the next one. Muddy Waters says, MicroStrategy just announced a rebrand. It is now just Strategy. Oh, really? That's interesting. I've not heard of that yet, but that's interesting. Yeah. You know what? I'm okay with that. It's like, why not? Why not? We'll have a bigger strategy opposed to a micro one. So that's not too shabby. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah. What can I say? Oh, now I do know, I know Prime Minister Trudeau up here is planning to have a bunch of meetings pretty darn soon, just to sort of discuss more on the on these tariffs and when they're going to come. So we're going to have to ask. We're going to have to, I don't want to say ask, we're going to have to find out about that. Let's see. AA says, I just wanted to ask you about HHIS. What do you think about it? All right. So HHIS, let's actually, you know what? Let's go to the harvest page because I will tell you right now, we're not going to get a lot of information from the normal pages yet because they're still brand new. They're still brand new here. All right. Just see here. All right. Here we go. Yes. You can use it. All right. Let's come all in here. All right, our high income shares. So HHIS, this is what I like about this. There should be a picture here. Well, wow, we can use this one as well. One of the nice things about this is that you're getting all of these high income shares. So you're getting all of the high income shares with it. So you're getting exposure here to Microsoft, Amazon, Eli Lilly, Nvidia, Strategy. Yeah, if Muddy is right here, Strategy, Coinbase, Tesla, Palantir, and Meta. So you're getting a really good a broadcast right across. Now, mind you, each one of these is covered using covered calls. Some of them are also using leverage. That's all into this as well. So you are getting a nice high. Let's pull it up here. Do they have? I don't think they actually have it here, but you're basically getting 25 cents a month. Now, you'll see over here, we also have this, and I've gotten questions about this as the anticipated minimum monthly. So this is what they're saying, that in the worst case scenario, the market absolutely craps. What is that 25 cents going to be? It's going to be 16 cents. That's what they're anticipating as their lowest value. And that's not that bad. That's not that bad. So, you know, you do have income. Like if you are an income investor and you're trying to get as much out of your TFSA as possible, you know, you could sort of say, okay, well, worst case scenario, 16 cents. That's still pretty darn good. You know, and right now you're going to start off at 25. And so whenever the market's good, you're going to have more. Now, keep in mind, if it goes down to 16 cents in a bad market, once the market recovers, it will come back up. Now, I'm going to show you somebody completely different. We're going to HYLD. All right, so HYLD. So this is the enhanced one from Hamilton, but it demonstrates what we're sort of looking at. So when we look at this one, they started here. They almost immediately went into a bear market. Then they recovered. They recovered, but you notice they never got back to where they were. That's because of capped upside potential. So you don't get everything back. But keep in mind, you were getting pretty good dividends. But the point I'm making with these guys here is, and let's go into their dividends. All right, we're going to go all the way back in time here. There we go. So they started with a 13.8-cent dividend. They immediately went up to 14, even though the market was already a bit in trouble, but they did take it back. They took it up to 14. And then as they could no longer take it any longer, they went into their worst case scenario, which was 12 cents. So they fell down to 12 cents. And as the market began to slowly improve, they went up to 12.1, 13.1, 13.8, 14.3. So that's now a new high for them. So they're at a new high. They're doing fantastic. You're going to see similar stuff with this. It's a different company, but it's the same general concept. Because keep in mind, when the market is tanking, you still have that opportunity to write options on it, and they're still writing options. They're still gaining the premiums. They're also using something called return of capital as well. So that's one of the reasons that I always say that when you're dealing with stocks of this nature or ETFs of this nature, hold them in a registered account like your TFSA, because if you don't, you may have just a little bit of tax implications, not meaning anything big. Like if you have return of capital, all that's going to do is lower your adjusted cost base. Then if you sell it, you'll have a higher, you will end up having a higher tax bill. So you'll have higher capital gains when you sell. So, It's an interesting thing. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, I can understand that. The big thing with this, right, is whoops, Blossom Social. Um, Actually, this is what I'm looking for. Whoops. All right, let's head down here. So, let's just say, for example, we're just going to say 10 units here, 5 units here. And so let's say you do buy something up here, and this is kind of where it's at. And then we have a bear market. I'm going to do a big drop, All right. And then I'm just doing it this way. This sort of mirrors what happened with HYLD. But this will happen with, of course, this one as well. So what will happen here is you'll have that drop. We're not even going to talk about the leverage part. The leverage part, because you have the leverage working in both directions. So we're going to remove that from the equation. But what happens is when you have had this big drop and you start coming back up, well, you still have options that are going on here. OPT. IONS. All right, so you still have options happening. So as you're doing these options, so you're creating, you're basically predicting. So you might write an option here saying that, okay, if this ETF, or if this actually wouldn't even be the ETF, guys, it would actually be, you'd be writing options on the individual stocks inside the ETF. So let's say, for example, you had, NVIDIA in there. So if you're holding NVIDIA, you might be writing stocks on NVIDIA. And let's say NVIDIA is sitting at about $120. You might say, okay, well, I will sell an option that if NVIDIA hits 140 by X date, we'll just say it might be a month. Normally usually you're writing shorter options in these, but so what ends up happening is if the price gets to, well, first of all, they have to pay to buy your contract. So they'll pay you that premium. That premium is going into those dividends right then and there. So if the price only gets to, let's say it gets to $139, well, they don't get any of those stocks that they bought the right for, because you hit the date, it only hit 139. You keep your stocks, you keep your premiums. That's your best case scenario. But suppose it does really well. And let's say it goes up to 145. Well, unfortunately, that person is probably going to exercise that option. You still keep the premium, but you have to sell your $145 stocks to them at 140. So you're taking a small loss there. So what that does when you have that happening within this ETF is you lose a little bit of that potential, that upside. So that $5, that you could have had going up. Whoops. Let's get rid of that. That $5 going up. Well, you're not getting that. So you're selling it at 145 you're selling it at 140, and then you have to buy them back because you still need them for the thing. So you're buying them back at 145. So you lost $5. So you've lost, it doesn't, even though in this example, we're going from $5 to $10, but those little shares, that means that you've lost a little bit of that upside potential. So, if you didn't, so let's say that you never lost a single piece of upside potential in here. So if you somehow managed to never, ever lose any of that upside potential, you'd get back to here. You would basically get back to where you started, but you are losing all of that upside along the ways. And it's not entirely a bad thing. Keep in mind, while that's all happening, you are, of course, making all kinds of money here. You're getting all of those dividends are coming in. So if you actually were to calculate the dividends, let me go with this. So if you were to calculate the dividends, your returns are probably closer to something like this. You don't fully get back, but you get a lot closer, especially if you're reinvesting those dividends. They definitely help. And Tim says, yeah, HYLD is now a completely different ETF than what it was when it started. It's made up of different ETFs than it initially was. Yeah. And that's most of these ETFs, like this one here, probably isn't going to change. Other than guys, if Harvest decides to add new companies, they'll probably move they'll probably add those to HHIS. So HHIS will probably pick those up as well. So just something to think about. Nvidia, yeah, Nvidia had a good day today, guys. Let's see, where is it? Over here. Yeah, 5.21%. That's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. All right. Jersky says, hello, good afternoon. Did I miss anything important? Oh yeah, we were talking about all kinds of things that you missed. We actually gave out the secrets to the universe earlier, but you can catch that in the replay. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Ian says, hello, I just got here. What is this? Were you two, Jersky and Ian comes in at the same time. What were you two up to? What were you two up to? Were you I always find that funny. Let's see. What is a non-cash distribution? Canoe had one recently. Yeah. So, okay. So what Canoe did recently is instead of giving you cash, so instead of actually paying you a special dividend, what they did is they basically paid it into the capital on Canoe. So just give me a second here. Let's go back here. Whoops, where are we at here? Right here. Let's go back here. All right, so this is your, we're going to put this here as your capital. Let's call it cap. So if this is the capital that you've invested into Canoe, what Canoe basically did is they had extra money left over because they had a good year. They had a good year, so they had extra money that they wanted to give back to the shareholders. So they have options. They can give you dividends. They could give you extra dividends. But Canoe doesn't like to do that. So what Canoe does is they take that money instead and they pop it into your capital. So in this case, if your adjusted cost base, so if your adjusted cost base was, let's say you got, $12.80. Well, what they're doing is they're pumping that money into there. So all of a sudden your adjusted cost base will go up. So maybe, for example, it might go up to $13.24 because I believe it was a 44 cents a share that they were giving out. So that's fantastic. Now, if you're holding your Canoe in your TFSA, which most of us are, doesn't help you at all, at all. But if you were holding this in a non-registered account, all of a sudden, if you decided to sell, well, because of that increase in your adjusted cost base, you would have less capital gains. Just go with CG. So you'd have less capital gains. That's where you would make your money. But because Canoe does all of these little things like return of capital, basically, if you think about it this way, in a way, because during the year they're giving you ROC, so return of capital. This is kind of like them doing an anti-ROC. So you're getting some of that capital back that they've already, because this here, return of capital is lowering your adjusted cost base. This here raises it. So when all is said and done, it gets you closer to where it should be fairly. But yeah, that's kind of what's been going on with Canoe. They do that usually once a year, not always once a year. I don't think they did it last year. But they did it I know they did it a few years ago. All right. Muddy says, HHIS, would dollar cost averaging be the best way to enter since this is a new ETF with no track record? Dollar cost averaging is the best way to enter into anything, to be honest. But here's the thing. With something like HIS, and let's actually take a look and see I don't know if we have very much history yet. All right. With HHIS, and I'll pull up the 3 month because you can see it's brand new. It went up pretty fast, but now it has come back down. Now, here's the thing. I would almost say with something brand new, I A lot of times it will come down a little bit after you buy it. So I always hate to buy something when it first drops. But in this case here, like here's Monday. You can see that Monday drip. If you had been ready Monday morning, you could have got a nice deal on it. And as we get more of history, but yeah, if you're dollar cost averaging, that's not a bad way to go. All right, let's see. Great explanation. Non-cash dividends possibly giving you a few more shares. It depends on the company, right? There are different ways you can do it, but Canoe does it by giving you capital. They just add to your capital pile. Tim says, I saw somebody use DeepSeek yesterday. I guess it's somewhat okay tool for getting a quick generic answer to something, but hardly revolutionary. Yeah, I won't use it personally. I'm very happy with ChatGPT. All right, let's see here. Peter the Repeaters. Oh, I don't know what Peter the Repeaters is. Jungle says, I figured HHIS was worth a go. I put some extra cash in I had lying around into it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I have not gotten into HHIS, but I did pick up Misty, MSTY, which is in the, it's actually one of the ones it holds. But I do like the idea of HHIS for sure. Ian says, got Canoe on my TFSA, would have rather had a special dividend. Fair enough. Why? Why is there a squirrel beside my name? That's not a squirrel, it's a beaver. Yeah, so last night I was making beavers for the channel members. So the channel members have different beavers that are now by their name. I think it changes with how long you've been in the channel membership. Yeah, so if you've been in long enough, there's actually a beaver with a lightsaber, which I think is like for the 1 year maybe. But yeah, that's what that is. That is why there is a I guess it looks like a squirrel. They're so small, right? It's hard to get a beaver. But yeah, I can't remember. Was it a couple? Actually, I think it was JJ. I think JJ was like, "Oh, you should make some beaver emoticons for the chat badges." So I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll do it. Why not?" Let's see, Ian, you will always be special to us. Yeah. What can I say? the beaver emoticons. Oh, I love that coffee. Coffee is always good. Oh, a couple of other little things. So nobody took the subscriber sponsored video this month, so it doesn't look like we'll have one. I mean, if one of you want it right now, you can certainly do it. But I have to close that at the end of this stream. So I'll have to think of something fun. I'll think of something fun to stick into that slot this month. Ian says, I've been a member for longer than a year, but I think it resets when I let it expire and win a new membership. No, it doesn't. I think it adds. I think it's cumulative. Yeah, give me a second. Let me take a look here, Ian, and see. All right. Ian is a membership freeloader. There we go. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Let's see here. Ian, where are you at? Taking a look here. Actually, the oldest member that we have is like 25 months. Holy banana bread. I didn't even know we had the channel membership for 25 months, but apparently, yes. Now at 25 months, what do you get? Oh, that is the lightsaber. I think the lightsaber is maybe the 2-year mark. I'll have to look at them. I'll have to look at them again. Ian, where are you? I'm just sort of zipping through here. Meowie, Gordon. Let's see. There's Enid. There's Mary. Yeah, it keeps on reset. I don't see you, Ian. I don't even see you. But oh well. It keeps oh. That's one to yeah. Anyway. I will figure. Yeah, you're the lost member. That is so true. But what can I say? We did, by the way, guys, we did change the way that the free memberships work. So instead of dropping them all on the first Sunday, we have we're pushing them out so that way there we can just drop them here and there throughout the month. So we'll do one right now. Benny Avalis. There we go. There we go. Congratulations, Benny. All right. Green tea time here. There we go. Green tea time here. I want to be able to drip XDIV3 4 of the way there. Snowball. Yeah. I mean, if you're into the dripping, it's always awesome when you finally have enough to do a full drip. Now, the nice thing is, guys, if you're using Wealth Simple, because of the fractional investing, dripping becomes really, really easy because it will just do it automatically for you if you turn that on. So that's always a fun thing. But occasionally, if you get a newer ETF, for example, or a new company, sometimes the drip doesn't, they don't have it for that one. Like, for example, RMAX. So RMAX does not have dripping. So when you get those dividends, you'll have to reinvest those yourself manually. Ian says, I just keep running my mouth in the chat and winning free memberships. Yeah, you didn't this time. It didn't work. It didn't. Well, I guess if you're already active, though, it probably didn't work. It didn't work for you. I don't know. But yeah, so we're doing little things like that. And I want to be able to go create, and I don't know if I can do this yet for YouTube, if I can create actual emoticons that everybody could use, because I thought that would be kind of fun. Ideally I would like to have is emoticons that everyone can use in the channel, and then have maybe a couple of special emoticons that the channel members can use. I thought that would be kind of fun, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Ian says, I don't like to drip. I allocate my dividends into other stocks. Yeah, and that's exactly it, right? There's many ways to do it. Like, I personally don't like to drip because, I will, instead of dripping into a stock that I may already have a big enough position in, I'd rather just put those individually into, maybe an underrepresented stock. Or if I have a stock that has a really good buying opportunity, might as well throw those dividends that way as well. So not a bad thing. Tim says, I've seen the financial audit guy, Caleb Hammer, is now doing a tour. When is the Mountain Finance Cross Canada tour happening? I actually want to do one. I would love to do one. Probably won't happen, though, until I can fully support myself from the channel, because I run this channel in the red. So once I can support myself with the channel, then things like that actually get onto the board. Right now, they're not yet onto the board. All right. What are your thoughts on a non-registered account? If you have space in your registered accounts, so especially your TFSA, if your TFSA has space in it, you shouldn't be using your non-registered account unless you're using it for business activity. So day trading, or shorter swing trading. Those are the things that you would be using your non-registered. But once you get to a point, and we've got people here who are in this situation. Ian is in the situation where, you've got your TFSA maxed, and then you have no choice but to use a non-registered. There you want to be a little bit more, smart about how you use it. So for example, you probably, at that point, you probably want your high dividend stuff, especially stuff that has all kinds of different tax profiles in the dividends. You want those in your TFSA. Get those out of the area. That way, there you can then put in your non-registered account things that are a little bit more simple, and things that have eligible, so Canadian eligible dividends, because you pay less taxes on them. So it's all about minimizing your taxes. And then when you are using a non-registered account too, you want to become familiar with tax loss harvesting. So, you want to have methods and ways to prevent yourself from paying a whole bunch of capital gains. So, but yeah, I mean, if you need to use it smartly. I think they're absolutely cool. Would you consider opening for Trooper? Isn't that like a band or something from like the 70s or something? I'm not sure. I actually don't know who Trooper is, but unless they could, maybe they're a new band and I just haven't heard of them. But for For some reason, when I hear Trooper, I think 70s, and I don't know why. Ian says, yeah, my TFSA and RRSP are both maxed. My old job bought me RRSPs as part of my pay package. Oh, yeah. If you have a job, guys, that has RRSP matching, you 100% want to be using that to the maximum, because that's free money. That is absolutely free money. Let's see. What are your thoughts on GNR? Let's take a look. Let's take a look here. I'm not familiar with the ticker off the top of my head here. All right, so let's see here. So let's see. All right, let's take a look here. So the SPDR, S&P Global Natural Resources ETF. Okay. Interesting. I like the fact natural resources. I am bullish on natural resources for sure. Oh, I was on this question here. I forgot to pop it up. Let's take a look here. Do they have a semi-annual dividend at 4.47? So it's not great, but it's fine. All right, I want to take a look. Let's go back 3 years and see. Well, this is interesting. It hasn't really been doing a lot of growth, that's for sure. I just noticed Nick was saying GNR is Guns N' Roses. I'm kind of curious now. Let's go in here a little bit. Not getting a lot of data, but it's an ETF, so sometimes you don't get a lot of data on it. But it'd be interesting to see. Just give me 1 second here. Does it tell us what they're trying to replicate? Yeah, so they're basically looking to replicate the S&P Global Natural Resources Index. Yeah, I mean, it seems okay. I'm a little bit concerned though, like it has it. This is, to me, this is a downtrend. It's been on a downtrend for a while, so I would feel like there might be some better options out there. So I personally, I probably wouldn't invest in it myself. I will just be honest about that. Even though I do like natural resources, I feel like there's probably better options out there. Let's see. Kevin says, my TFSA is loaded with Tesla, NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel. Nice. Let's see. She could open for GNR, but Axl Rose is a redhead. That would be 2 redheads in one show. I like Trooper better for a Canadian tour, for a Candace tour. Sorry. Okay. Oh, you did mean Guns N' Roses and not GNR on the U.S. stock exchange. Okay. I completely missed that, Ian. Yeah, I totally missed that. Vic got the joke. I did not. That went totally over my head. And we've now looked at the SPDR, S&P Global Natural Resources ETF, because they have the same abbreviation as Guns N' Roses. That's hilarious. All right. Well, now I don't feel bad for getting down on GNR. So there we go. AA says, I wish I could max out my TFSA. Well, work on it. Yeah, it's not something you can do overnight. That's for sure. Rock on. Let's see. One day I was bored, so I started typing in funny ticker names, hence GNR. Nice. Let's see. Hoping to have TFSA max this year. Nice. All right. And Vic has caught Guns N' Roses in concert. I will tell you guys right now, I have not seen a lot of concerts. I have seen Gowan in concert. Those of you who remember Gowan. Actually, Gowan is still relevant. He's now the lead singer of Styx. I've also seen Platinum Blonde in concert. So it's definitely some Canadian stuff there right away. I think the biggest name I saw in concert, I won some tickets once to Garth Brooks. I went to see Garth Brooks once. That was in Calgary. All right, let's see. What's your thoughts on ABBA? They're a classic. That's all I can say. I have nothing against ABBA. They're definitely a classic. And I don't know the names of everybody in ABBA, but I know the lead singer. She's got a pretty good set of pipes. So, how about RCI.B? What do you think about it? All right, RCI. So that's going to be one of the Rogers ones. All right. So you're looking at, and these are the non-voting shares. So, it's still the same company. It's just that people who hold these shares, they don't have voting rights. That's the difference between regular shares and non-voting shares. But you can sort of see this is the struggle of Rogers. Rogers, TELUS, Bell. They've all been doing the same thing. I really, really, really think, though, that things are going to start looking up. Now, things are not as bad as they look, though. Part of the reason for that is a lot of the cash that Rogers, Bell, and TELUS have been spending. They've been spending a lot of cash with their 5G upgrades. Now, they have finally got all of the urban done. They're now into the rural, and hopefully by the end of this year, that's all done. That will definitely be really good for them. Things will start to turn around. All right. Let's see. Vix's Axel's a good piano player. I do love a good piano, that's for sure. Tim says, I heard Taylor Swift is doing an IPO this summer. Oh, really? Interesting. Yeah, Strange Animal. That was a great album. I always thought that Gowan, I always thought that he was very he just never got the credit he deserved. Like you had like Bryan Adams taking the credit from everybody else. It was like, oh, Canadian music, Bryan Adams. It's like, no, there's a lot more. There's a lot more out there. Let's see. November Rain is an epic song. There we go. Moonlight Desires. That was a good song. ABBA.SW. Is that a stock? Were you actually asking about a stock and not ABBA the band? Well, I don't see a stock named ABBA. I'm just going to leave it alone. Platinum Blonde was my first concert in the 80s. Yeah. Platinum Blonde was my second. Gowan was my first, then Platinum Blonde. I actually saw both of them in Kingston. So, Kingston, Ontario. So yeah, I always thought Platinum Blonde was pretty good, but they kind of disappeared after like what, three, four albums. But they had some of their stuff with some really high energy stuff, like Standing in the Dark was a great song. Ian says, best concert I went to was the Stones in Regina. Blew my mind. Wow. Yeah, see, I'd love to go see some of these classic bands for sure. Like the Stones, I think they would be absolutely fun. Jersky says, I met Brett Michaels in Moose Jaw, and I got a picture of us together. He's an awesome guy. Awesome. Let's see. I got hit with a Moose Jaw AT, a Brett Michaels concert. Nice. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Honeymoon Suite. They were a nice band. They were a cool band too. Tom Cochrane, Blue Rodeo, Arcade Fire. There we go. We just got them. We got them all falling out. Yeah, no, the 80s. I mean, come on. Let's all admit it. The 80s was a really great time for music. I mean, there was just so much cool. You know what? I'm gonna swear on the channel. There was so much cool shit in the 80s. There's no way around it. That deserved the S word. That deserved it. That's the first time I've ever said that word on the channel. Tim Dancher said it once in a live stream, but yeah, the 80s rocked. Let's see. Sass Jordan 2 years ago. Depeche Mode. Oh, yeah, Depeche Mode was awesome. People are people. I remember. So cool. Alphaville. There we go. I'll give you a name that many of you may not remember. Doug and the Slugs. He was very small, but had at least one song, that Making It Work song that still sticks out in my head. Missed Depeche Mode last year. You know who was here last year? Or was the year before last? I think I wasn't able to make it out, but Krista Berg actually came, and I was like, oh, I loved Krista Berg. A lot of cool stuff, but never got a chance. Mary says, love Doug. Yeah, Doug and the Slugs. They were absolutely fantastic. Yes. BlackBerry had a very good day today. We're looking at that, and I do have them in the challenge, so they were doing a fantastic. All right, guys, you got your last minute questions. Throw them in. Throw them in. Doesn't mean we're leaving, but I'm gonna give that warning because I always give the warning. All right. Vic says, I can't believe I missed Fleetwood Mac. Oh boy, yeah. CCR. What is that? Credence Clearwater Revival? Let's see. Green River Corp. That stock has me ripping off. Oh, there we go. You actually said it right after that. Green River is my favorite CCR song. It's a real stock. Yeah, I know. So much good music. There we go. If I ever create a second channel, it'll have to be like an 80s music channel. Just me talking about 80s music for like a lot. That would be fantastic. Actually, there's I don't know if any of you guys follow this guy. He's called the Professor of Rock. He's on YouTube. He has a good channel. He's always reviewing stuff. Most of it's from the 80s and brings up some of the old charts and stuff. He's got some pretty good content. So if you guys like 80s music, check out Professor of Rock. He is pretty awesome. Vic says, let's see, Creed Live, saw Springsteen in the last months. Yeah, Springsteen. Yeah, he's like 75, the boss. That's what happens. They get old. Let's see. Missed Metallica in Edmonton. Yes. No, it's like I said, it's been a long time since I've been to a concert now. It's like, actually, just recently, I think we had Dingledorf there. Billy Idol came through. So I didn't get a chance to see Billy Idol, but that would have been actually fantastic. I loved Billy Idol. He was pretty cool. Let's see. AC/DC Vancouver. Anyone? There we go. Somebody go to see AC/DC with Vic. I think you'd have a lot of fun. I think it would be awesome. Yeah. The good old music, the good old days for sure. Saw Grammy at Grammy. There we go. Oh, guys, I think we're towards the end now. I'm getting what's Ian say? I think the last live show I went to was Neil Young. Yeah, generally when we completely leave the entire the entire topic of what we're talking about, it usually means that we're pretty close to the end here. We will be back. Oh, by the way, a Dollarama deep dive that will be dropping on Friday. We'll be back again on Sunday, and guys, last Sunday we shattered the internet. Like we had about 110 people in the chat at one point. That was absolutely crazy. I loved it though. I loved it. We had a pretty good show for sure. Let's see. Grammys were this past Ellen's. Let's see. I read last month that PIMCO is adding Campbell's soup to their aging rock stars ETF. Old people get cold. Yes. Sunday. Sunday was really good. Really, really good. Ian, so why did EXE pop 7% today? All right. And Mary's saying thank you. Why did EXE pop 7? Did they pop that much? So that's Extendicare. Let's see here. Yeah, look at that. 7.4%. Nice. That's a good question. Let's see here. Nope, they don't have their earnings until the 27th of February. So it's definitely not earnings, but keep in mind, I'm kind of curious. I want to check something here as well. I'm going to head over to RioCan. Yeah, we're starting to see some movement again in some of the REITs. We got to go to RMAX now. Let's go to, I had just removed it. I'm like, all right. Anyway. Yeah, so we've been getting a little bit of movement in some of our, and I'll go back to Extendicare again because, I had it up. But yeah, we are starting to see a little bit of movement in real estate, and I am pretty bullish on real estate for this year. So it's about time. So I'm pretty hopeful that we see continued movement in our favorite real estate stocks, because 2025 should be the year of real estate. And then I probably will completely downsize my real estate by the end of this year, but I'm hoping to ride up some profits for sure. All right. Ian says, I sold some in December. Maybe people are heading to EXE because old people are recession proof. Oh, yeah. Well, it's not just that they're recession proof, right? When you look at EXE, you're getting both. I mean, you are getting some REIT characteristics with this because, it's a lot of old age care places. So there is real estate involved. But, you are getting a business model that is only going to be in higher demand, especially as more and more baby boomers move into the later parts of their retiring years where they may need, for example, some of that extra care. So you've got a huge mass of baby boomers that, they're still technically they're still moving into retirement, but there's a whole bunch of retired baby boomers that are slowly moving towards that area where a home life, a home life with extra care is kind of the order of the day. Ian says, bought some RMAX today with other dividends. EXE is tariff proof. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, real estate as well. So real estate, senior care facilities, those are all tariff proof for sure. So we're never gonna, they're not going down. They're not going down. They're fine. All right, guys, it's been about an hour and a half. These things normally only go about an hour, but sometimes they go longer. I'm okay with that. All right, guys, we will be. Let's see. Sold 5K with to help fund my TFSA. Should have kept them. Still get 1,000 shares. Nice. Apparently, the dinner bell is ringing, but that's fine. I have had more than one cold supper because I've let a stream go too long, and I'm willing to have cold suppers again. So I'm okay with that. But anyway, guys, this has been fantastic. We will be back, of course, on Sunday. We'll have another kicking this week, and I don't know if we'll get 110. I think there was a lot of people coming in because of the trade war, but these shows have been absolutely kicking. Yeah, they have been getting better and better. So that's always fantastic. All right, guys. I will see you guys on Sunday. Be sure to check out the show coming out on Friday. Until then, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye, everybody.